The last healer of Onicha. The rain poured heavily over the village of Onicha, drumming against the thatched roofs and forming small rivulets along the red earth. Lightning cracked across the sky, illuminating the figure of an old man standing in the center of the village square. His frail body trembled, not from the cold, but from the burden he carried. His name was Dibia Aniku, the last healer of Onicha. For decades, he had served as the bridge between the living and the spirit world, curing the sick, guiding lost souls, and ensuring the balance between the seen and unseen. But his time was ending. His bones had grown weak, his sight dim. The ancestors whispered to him in his dreams, telling him it was time to pass on his knowledge. Yet, there was no one left to receive it. The people of Onicha no longer believed in the old ways. The young saw the world beyond, drawn by promises of wealth and modernity. The elders who still clung to tradition had all passed, leaving Dibia Aniku as the last keeper of ancient wisdom. He had no apprentice, no heir. That was until Chibiz returned. The chosen one. Chibiz had never wanted to be a healer. He was born in Onicha but left as a boy to live in the city with his uncle, where he attended school and dreamed of a future far from the superstitions of his people. He studied medicine, believing that science held the true power to heal. But when his mother fell gravely ill, and no doctor could explain her sickness, he was forced to return to the village. He found her lying on a bamboo mat, her once strong body frail, her breath shallow. The villagers whispered that it was a curse, a spiritual affliction that no hospital could cure. Dibia Aniku had been waiting for him. "You have the gift, Chibiz," the old man said, his voice barely louder than the rain outside. "It is in your blood, whether you accept it or not." Chibiz scoffed. "If my mother is sick, she needs real medicine, not old chants and herbs." The Dibia chuckled, his eyes gleaming with something ancient. "Then why are you here?" Chibiz had no answer. That night, he sat beside his mother, holding her cold hand, watching her chest rise and fall like the last flicker of a dying flame. He thought of all the science he had studied, all the modern knowledge he had gained, yet none of it could save her. Then a dream came to him. The call of the ancestors. In his dream, he stood in a vast forest, the air thick with the scent of earth and rain. A great fire burned in the distance, and around it, shadowy figures danced, their voices rising in an ancient song. From the flames, a figure emerged, a tall, dark-skinned man adorned with white chalk patterns, his eyes glowing like burning coals. "You are not just a healer of the body," the figure said. "You are a healer of the soul. The knowledge of your ancestors flows in your veins, waiting to be awakened." Chibiz tried to run, but his feet were rooted to the ground. The spirits surrounded him, their voices merging into a single command. "Take the staff." Before him, a wooden staff appeared, carved with symbols older than time. Chibiz hesitated. He did not believe in spirits, in magic, in the old ways. But when he reached out and grasped the staff, fire surged through his veins. The pain was unbearable, yet it brought clarity, a knowledge beyond science, beyond logic. When he woke, the old Dibia was watching him. "You have been chosen," Aniku said simply. "The spirits have spoken." The trial of the healer. Chibiz wanted to deny it, to dismiss it as a fever dream. But when he looked at his mother, her face pale and her breath shallow, he knew he had no choice. With hesitant hands, he accepted the Dibia's teachings. He learned the songs that called the spirits, the herbs that healed the unseen ailments, the ancient rituals that restored balance. The knowledge did not come from books but from whispers carried by the wind, from memories buried deep in his soul. The first test came soon. A man stumbled into the compound, his eyes wide with terror. His son had fallen into a deep sleep and would not wake. The boy's body was warm, but no fever burned. His breath was steady, yet he did not stir. "The child's spirit is lost," Aniku said. "You must bring him back." Chibiz swallowed hard. "How?" The old Dibia placed a hand on his shoulder. "You already know the way. Listen to the ancestors." With the village watching, Chibiz knelt beside the boy and closed his eyes. He let the whispers fill his mind, guiding his hands to mix the right herbs, to chant the right words. Then, he placed his palm on the boy's forehead. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the boy gasped, his eyes fluttering open. He sat up, looking around in confusion. The villagers murmured in awe. Chibiz had done what no doctor could. The last healer rises. Word spread quickly. The people of Onica, who had once turned away from the old ways, now whispered of the young man who had inherited the power of their ancestors. But with power came responsibility. One night, as Chibiz prepared healing herbs, Dibia Aniku called him outside. The moon shone brightly, casting long shadows on the ground. "My time has come," the old man said. Chibiz's chest tightened. "No." Aniku smiled. "You no longer need me. The spirits have accepted you. You are the last healer of Onica now." With that, the old Dibia closed his eyes and took his final breath. The wind carried his spirit into the night, and for the first time, Chibiz understood. He had spent his life searching for knowledge, believing that science held all the answers. But true healing was more than medicine. It was balance between body and spirit, between past and future. As dawn broke over Onica, Chibiz stood at the edge of the village, staff in hand. He was no longer just a man. He was the last healer. And he would not let the old ways die. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment.